Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, is already celebrating his win by giving new statements to the press. Will the judge be mad?
3 sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ lots of stars who attended the SNL events on Sunday night were confused as to why Blake and Ryan appeared at the show.
Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
The ongoing legal battle between Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni has been full of unexpected twists, enough to inspire an entire movie script. However, one thing has remained consistent in recent weeks. Baldoni has been securing major victories in court. Now, it seems the pressure is mounting on Hollywood's beloved couple. Insiders reveal that Blake and Ryan are in full-blown panic mode following Baldoni's latest legal win, prompting them to instruct their PR team to find a way to protect their reputation and career before things spiral out of control.
If Blake Lively and her legal team had a strong case, do you think we would have seen it filed by now? I mean, the fact that they asked for an extension, they were given the weekend, and now we still don't have anything.
From having their request for a gag order dismissed to seeing their protective measures nullified, Blake and Ryan have found themselves backed into a corner by Baldoni's legal team. After weeks of appearing to be on the losing side, the momentum in this battle has shifted dramatically. Now, it's Baldoni who is applying the pressure, and is doing it masterfully. With each passing day, he makes Blake and Ryan's defense look amateurish, leaving many wondering if Lively stands any real chance of winning at this point.
Her making any on-the-record statements about her connection to all of this stuff. And 3, we don't have her issuing a statement in support of Blake Lively or Believe Women or any of that. Like we saw that initially with a lot of people coming out in support of Blake, and then we see how that definitely came back to bite them in the butt.
There's no doubt that this scandal has the potential to be career-ending, which is why Baldoni is fighting tooth and nail to stay on the winning side. Unlike Lively and Reynolds, who have already built successful careers, Baldoni is still on the rise. And in Hollywood, reputation is everything. Once it's damaged, opportunities disappear. This is also why Lively and Reynolds refuse to concede or even entertain settlement talks. They know Baldoni holds the upper hand, and any discussion of a settlement would only make them look guilty. With everything on the line, the stakes have never been higher.
As to why they would be there and involved in this way. Now, that's not to say that they were completely ignored. From what we've heard, there were people who were talking to them. Paul McCartney, strangely enough, was hanging out with them. But there were other people who actually avoided them, is what we heard, that were just didn't want to get into conversation with them.
Blake Lively's latest attempt to amend her lawsuit with new allegations has been met with heavy criticism from both fans and industry observers. While some question the credibility of these fresh claims, others see it as a strategic move by her legal team to divert attention from their losing position. With Baldoni gaining momentum, they seemingly needed a way to slow him down, hoping that introducing additional alleged victims would shift the narrative in their favor. However, this time, their plan appears to have backfired.
Baldoni made $300,000, and I think Blake Lively made $3 million, if I have that right. I think Jenny Slate was probably in the 6-figure range.
Not only did the amended lawsuit fail to achieve the desired effect, but it also backfired spectacularly. Instead of gaining sympathy from the public, it has only reinforced the perception that Lively is desperately trying to undermine Baldoni because her case is losing ground. At this point, one has to question whether her legal strategy is actually helping her case. With the way things are unfolding, it certainly doesn't seem that way, though perhaps there's more to the story than meets the eye.
Husband Ryan Reynolds, one of the most bankable actors working in Hollywood today, comprises one of the most formidable couples in the industry. Oh my gosh, is this all they have? You're like looking under a rock, like, do we have any other complaints? Yeah, they gave me my money back, but they were weird about it.
Honestly, no one expected Reynolds and Lively to make an appearance at the recently concluded SNL 50th anniversary event. Many assumed they were keeping a low profile, especially after their noticeable absence from the Super Bowl, where Lively's bestie, Taylor Swift, was seen enjoying herself. But there they were, seated among Hollywood's biggest names. And just when it seemed like they were trying to keep things low-key, Reynolds did something no one saw coming. In what appeared to be a misguided attempt to lighten the mood, he cracked a joke about his wife's lawsuit. While Ryan is known for his humor, this time it didn't land well, and now they're facing heavy backlash for it.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds. Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Mocking a lawsuit that has escalated into a full-blown scandal, one that has sparked debates about Blake's integrity, was a reckless move by Ryan. To some, it even seemed like Blake was caught off guard, as if she had no idea he would say something like that. Fans and fellow celebrities at the event were quick to criticize Reynolds, calling him tone-deaf to the seriousness of the situation. Many believe the couple should have stayed home rather than making a public appearance at a star-studded event and joking about a legal battle that is spiraling further out of control. And honestly, they have a point. Causing such controversy on their first red carpet since Lively filed the lawsuit was an unnecessary PR gamble, one that has backfired spectacularly. The joke, which appeared to be pre-planned, was likely meant to project confidence and show that they weren't feeling the pressure. However, instead of diffusing the tension, it only made things worse, fueling speculation that the couple is completely out of touch with reality.
Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And I know most of us are probably really tired of it, and I can agree with that because it feels like it is an endless charade, an endless level of tomfoolery.
You know what's crazy? Even though it seemed like the crowd enjoyed Ryan's stunt, insider sources at the event revealed a different story. According to them, most Hollywood stars actually avoided the couple throughout the night, with only a handful stopping to have a conversation. In fact, sources say Blake and Ryan were among the last to leave, perhaps a sign that they were feeling the isolation firsthand.
A considerable amount of blowback with respect to the appearances of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds at the SNL 50th year reunion.
Some sources claim that several A-listers even questioned the event organizers, not just for allowing Blake and Ryan to attend but for giving them the platform to make such an ill-timed joke. To be fair, everything about their presence at the event felt off. The awkwardness and tension surrounding them were hard to ignore. It was obvious. It almost felt like they crashed a wedding they weren't really invited to but insisted on attending anyway. Everyone could see that their appearance was a PR stunt, but the way they handled it was sloppy at best.
Confused as to why they would be there and involved in this way.
Go back to that picture real quick.
Uh-huh.
It's really interesting. A lot of them are just not looking at him at all, even though he's standing and talking.
Right.
That's really interesting.
There has been growing speculation that Hollywood is quietly distancing itself from the Blake versus Justin controversy, especially after the latest revelations. Until now, there was no solid proof, but that seems to have changed. The higher-ups in Hollywood have been Blake and Ryan's saving grace throughout this scandal, but if they lose that protection, they'll find themselves increasingly isolated, a scenario that Baldoni's team would no doubt celebrate. And why wouldn't they? It would help level the playing field in a way that could drastically shift the power dynamics of this legal battle.
That's not to say that they were completely ignored. From what we've heard, there were people who were talking to them. Paul McCartney, strangely enough, was hanging out with them. But there were other people who actually avoided them, is what we heard, that were just didn't want to get into conversation with them.
Rumors suggest that Lively was hesitant about attending the event in the first place, unsure of how they would be received. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. With her alleged toxic behavior being exposed in multiple ways, people are well aware of the controversy surrounding her. However, she ultimately went, likely because one of her biggest allies was by her side. At this point, they're already one of the most gossiped about couples in Hollywood, so perhaps, in their minds, there wasn't much left to lose.
Baldoni and Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds thing, and it's just, this is gold for content creators because there is this dichotomy that exists between Hollywood celebrities and then content creators and podcasters.
Trust me, being the main topic of gossip in Hollywood is far from comfortable, but in this case, it's well deserved. Blake and Ryan set out to make a spectacle of this lawsuit, and now they have exactly that, just not in the way they expected. Baldoni completely flipped the script on them, proving why he's a highly regarded movie director. He refused to be crushed by Hollywood's power players because he knew that if they succeeded in shutting him down, it would be the end of his career and his dreams of making it big in the industry.
Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ lots of stars who attended the SNL events on Sunday night were confused as to why Blake and Ryan appeared at the show while they battle it out in court with Baldoni over drama surrounding the movie It Ends With Us. Right, yeah, they're literally saying to themselves, bitch, you got caught.
Now that Baldoni is winning almost every hearing and motion before Judge Lyman, many are questioning whether Lively has any realistic path to victory. Several legal experts believe this case is likely to be settled before it ever reaches trial, simply because Lively can't afford to take the risk. Losing a $400 million lawsuit would be devastating, but even more damaging would be the loss of her reputation, a crucial asset if she hopes to continue landing roles in Hollywood.
The important thing to both of these celebrities is their brand, is their name, is their ability to work. And litigation does not help that. I absolutely think this case will settle.
It's a tough spot for Ryan and Blake, but the truth is, they put themselves in this position. Now, they're faced with a major decision. keep fighting and risk a career-destroying loss, or negotiate a very expensive settlement to salvage what's left of their reputation. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation, but that's the reality they're dealing with. Meanwhile, Baldoni has played his cards flawlessly, leaving them with very few options. Unless they can pull off some kind of miracle to regain control of this case, these seem to be their only choices. But the real question is, would they actually settle? Well, that remains to be seen.
That would go into trial are very, very unlikely. Their dirty laundry has been airing for a long time. It's not really helping either.
The latest reports confirm that Justin Baldoni has secured yet another major legal victory, this time in a closed-door meeting with the judge. During the session, Baldoni's team presented new evidence that completely undermined some of the most significant allegations in Blake Lively's lawsuit. Speculation has been swirling among those following the case that Lively may have intentionally misrepresented facts, particularly by excluding key context from text messages submitted as evidence. Even Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, has publicly accused Lively and her legal team of manipulating the narrative to strengthen their claims. If these allegations hold weight, this could be yet another massive blow to Lively's case.
They worked with the New York Times. Her publicists worked directly with the New York Times. They shared illegally obtained text messages. They shared those together. They concocted a complaint that they filed with the Civil Rights Division. They omitted texts that would have provided context, texts that were in the exact same string.
This scandal just keeps getting stranger and more chaotic. Why file a lawsuit if you don't have solid evidence to back up your claims? The allegations that Lively deliberately edited out emojis and isolated selective texts to strengthen her case are shocking. But the real turning point came when Baldoni's team provided the full, unedited context of those very messages, instantly shattering Lively's credibility. Now, her legal team is scrambling to contain the fallout, filing an oddly amended lawsuit that, quite frankly, doesn't seem to make much sense. But at this point, the damage may already be irreversible.
Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, is already celebrating his win by giving new statements to the press. Will the judge be mad? Also, resurfaced video is showing Blake Lively really stole that cut from Justin Baldoni and Sony.
Judge Lyman has explicitly warned both parties to stop litigating their case on social media, threatening to move the trial date forward if they don't comply. But let's be real, neither side is backing down. Once a scandal explodes online, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. And in a case like this, the real battleground isn't just the courtroom, it's the court of public opinion. Baldoni understands this better than anyone, and is not about to give up the PR advantage he's secured through his bold, calculated moves. Lively wanted to play dirty, so Baldoni decided to go even lower, and honestly, that's probably the only reason he's managed to stay ahead in this fight. What's even crazier? Despite Judge Lyman's warnings, Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, still held a press conference right after one of their recent hearings. If nothing else, this proves just how important controlling the public narrative is to Baldoni's team. Yes, Blake and Ryan are far more powerful and influential than Baldoni ever could be, but even they can't control everything. And right now, the one thing slipping further and further out of their grasp is public perception.
Lively's attorneys told TMZ, "We are pleased with the result of today's hearing and eager to move forward immediately with the discovery in this case. The court granted our request that all attorneys in the matter actually follow the rule of the law and not make any statements that could prejudice a jury. This case deals with serious allegations of SH and retaliation. We will hold the defendants accountable and we will be confident that once all the evidence is submitted in the matter, Miss Lively will prevail." Okay, well, we'll see. That's Blake Lively's side trying to declare it a win because, the judge did sort of say you must follow the law. But Justin Baldoni's team clearly also declaring the win, as TMZ is also reporting it, scored a legal win because there was no gag order.
Even though this case is far from over, its ramifications are already being felt on both sides. We all remember how Baldoni lost multiple film projects and was nearly blacklisted after Lively filed her lawsuit. But unlike before, he's managed to fight back and turn the tide. Now, according to credible insider sources, it looks like Blake and Ryan are finally feeling the heat too. Reports suggest that the couple has begun losing projects they were originally set to star in, and even some of their biggest endorsement deals are now in jeopardy, pending how the lawsuit unfolds over the next few months. In fact, the SNL event is a prime example of this shift. Allegedly, no one even wanted them there, but they somehow managed to make an appearance. What does all this prove? Baldoni's position in this lawsuit has never been stronger. Unlike a few months ago, when he seemed like the underdog, the big players in Hollywood are now reading the room and adjusting accordingly. some even distancing themselves from Lively and Reynolds to protect their own brands in case this legal battle delivers a crushing blow to their once golden reputations.
Moved emojis from text that show that there was satire and there was joking around by the PR crisis agent.
This scandal has officially reached the point where it's no longer just about legal ramifications. It's about career survival. And right now, things are looking far bleaker for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds than they are for Baldoni. One thing the couple can't afford to lose is the influence and status they've spent years building. At this stage, settling the lawsuit and moving on might be their best option. Yes, it's going to be expensive. And yes, public perception will be whatever it chooses to be. But at least with a settlement, they'll still have their A-list status intact, and they could resume their careers with minimal long-term damage. Risking a trial at this point? That just doesn't seem like a smart move anymore.
Lively speaking out for the first time, and she's talking about her SNL appearance, and it is complete delusion. She really thought that this would be her chance to step back into the spotlight. If you haven't checked it out, I will make sure I link it at the end of this. But as soon as I did that, well, then another bomb drops, and Taylor Swift no longer is speaking to Blake Lively. And not only that, she's ended their